Your mind doesn't just process information, it feels through it. You don't take things at surface level. You instinctively look deeper, beyond words, beyond appearances, beyond logic. You see patterns where others see randomness. You feel energy shifts in a room that no one else even notices. And when something doesn't feel aligned, you know it in your body before you can explain it in words. As a spiritually awake INFJ, you don't just think, you perceive. Your inner world is rich, layered, and often misunderstood. But it's also where your greatest power lives, the ability to connect dots others can't even see, to sense truth before it's proven, and to guide yourself through life, not by noise, but by intuition. You sense truth through intuition, not logic. You don't always need facts to know what's real. Your intuition speaks before your mind catches up, like a quiet voice that whispers the truth even when everything around you says otherwise. You've felt it when someone's words sound right, but something deep inside tells you they're not being honest. Or when a decision looks perfect on paper, but your gut says, don't do it. It's not paranoia, it's not overthinking. It's your inner compass, shaped by emotional intelligence, pattern recognition, and spiritual awareness. And the more you trust it, the stronger it gets. You might not always be able to explain how you know, but you just know. While others wait for proof, you've already moved, already prepared, already felt the truth. That's not guesswork. That's the quiet power of seeing beyond what's obvious and feeling what others haven't even begun to sense. You read energy before you read words. If you don't just listen to what people say, you tune into how it feels. Before the words even land, you've already picked up on the emotional undercurrent, the shift in their tone, the hesitation in their pause, the way their energy rises or drops when a subject comes up. It all speaks louder to you than their actual sentences. You feel their mood before they say a word. You can walk into a room and instantly sense if something's off, even if everyone's smiling. And sometimes you know someone's hiding something, not because of evidence, but because their energy doesn't match their voice. It's subtle, but you've learned to trust it, because while others take words at face value, you're already reading the emotional frequency underneath. That's why surface conversations exhaust you. You're not interested in what sounds good. You're paying attention to what feels true. You think in symbols, metaphors, and long-term meaning. Your thoughts don't follow a straight line. They move in layers, loops, and connections most people wouldn't think to make. You can hear a simple sentence and suddenly link it to a childhood memory, a philosophical concept, or a pattern you've seen repeated in human behavior. It's not random, it's how your mind works. You think in metaphors and symbolism, pulling meaning from things others dismiss as small or irrelevant. While most people focus on the now, you're already seeing how this moment fits into a bigger picture. Your brain is constantly weaving insights together, decoding not just what's happening, but why it's happening, what it represents, and what it could lead to. You don't just live life, you interpret it. Every interaction, every challenge, every quiet moment becomes part of a larger, unfolding story. And even if no one sees the depth in how you think, it's there, shaping how you navigate the world, one insight at a time. You experience time differently, always scanning past, present, and future. And your mind doesn't stay in one place. It moves fluidly between what was, what is, and what could be. You replay conversations days after they happen, not because you're stuck, but because you're still pulling meaning from them. You reflect on the past, not to dwell, but to understand. At the same time, you feel the present with overwhelming intensity. Every glance, every word, every shift in mood registers at full volume. And while you're doing all of that, another part of you is already looking ahead, picking up subtle clues about what's coming next. It's like living on 3 timelines at once, feeling everything, processing everything, preparing for everything. That's why you often feel drained after social interactions or moments of deep thought. Your brain doesn't clock out, it scans, processes, predicts. You're not just living in the moment, you're decoding time itself. And that's a gift, but also a weight few people ever understand. You question everything, including your own thoughts. You don't take anything at face value, not even your own beliefs. You question your reactions, your patterns, your assumptions, not because you're unsure, but because you're always searching for something real. You've never been the type to blindly follow a path just because it's what everyone else believes or expects. Instead, you turn inward, you reflect. You ask yourself hard questions. You want to know if what you think actually aligns with what you feel. And when something inside you feels off, you don't ignore it. You investigate it. You dig into your own psychology, your upbringing, your spiritual values. It's not about having all the answers. It's about being in integrity with yourself. That inner alignment matters more to you than fitting in, winning arguments, or pleasing people. Your mind is always evolving, but your compass stays steady. Truth, growth, and a deeper connection to something beyond the surface. You feel connected to something greater than yourself. You've always felt like there's more to life than what you can see. Even when things don't make sense, even when you feel lost, there's still something inside you whispering, keep going. There's meaning in this. You might call it God, the universe, intuition, or simply a sense of purpose, but it's always there. That quiet inner guidance that helps you navigate chaos, that gives you strength when logic falls short. You don't need proof to believe. You feel it. In the synchronicities, in the timing of things, in the way certain people or lessons show up when you need them most. It's why you trust your path even when you can't explain it to others. You're not just drifting, you're being guided. And that connection to something greater gives you a sense of peace, even in the darkest moments. You're not walking alone, and deep down, you've always known that. You often feel like an old soul in a chaotic world. You've always felt older than your age, not in years, but in perspective. While others chase distractions or live for the next dopamine hit, you find yourself craving meaning, depth, silence. You watch the world spinning in chaos, everyone trying to be louder, faster, more visible, and you feel like you're walking in slow motion through it all, observing rather than participating. Your awareness runs deep. You see the emotional subtext behind conversations, the spiritual weight behind life's patterns, the consequences behind impulsive choices. And while that awareness is a gift, it can also feel isolating because most people aren't wired to go that deep. They stay on the surface, and when you try to share what you see, you're met with confusion or silence. So you retreat, not because you dislike people, but because so few can meet you where you really are. You're not lost, you're just tuned to a different frequency. And that's why the world often feels too loud, too shallow, too far from the depth you carry inside. If you've ever felt like your mind works differently, like you see through things others don't even notice, then this space was made for you. You're not too sensitive, too deep, or too quiet. You're just tuned into something most people never stop long enough to feel. And while that can be isolating, it also means you're not alone. Here, your depth is understood. Your silence is respected and your inner world is honored. Subscribe and come back whenever the world feels too loud, because this is where people like you finally feel seen.